Hi Sag, and welcome to Tony's Tarot and Astrology. So we're going to have a look at the energies for this new moon for Sagittarius through placements of the astrology, but also through the tarot. So what we have here for the 17th of July is a new moon in Cancer at 24 degrees. Now this new moon is making a big, quite important T-square, and it's opposite Pluto and squaring these nodes. So when we have any planet's making a big T-square, it's very, very potent time. And with this Pluto node, and the Pluto node is going to be exact around this time, and it's actually going to be continuing on Pluto node right up until November. It's going to be activated whenever something else triggers it. So whether we get a conjunctions, square, or in this case opposition, making the full T-square to Pluto. So what this means here with Cancer energy and with the opposite Pluto in the last part of Capricorn, is that this is, allowing us to look at our, who we are, where we've come from, and, the direction, where are we going for our future. So looking at Pluto for Sagittarius, it's in your second position, and it's going back into Aquarius in December, or might be beginning of January 2024. So we've only got like another, 5 months of Pluto sitting in that last degree of Capricorn before we truly move into the Aquarian age. But, with that, Sagittarius, you've had Pluto go right through your whole second sector, and this has been, I would say, transforming your not only your understanding of who you are and your values, but also transforming your financial situation, your assets, how you and what all that means to you. Because again, even though it relates to our security, our assets, our property, the things we own, the things we need, the things we use, it's also about or we utilize, but it's also really about how we value these things and what they mean to us, and also the values of, our life values, and, how we share our energy as well. So with this, being in your, like I said, in your second sector, that's sort of, you've got that last little part. With the sun, moon, it might sort of be coming up again for Sagittarius to be looking at those things as it's being activated through the sun, moon. Like I said, it's once it sort of moves into your third sector, then it's sort of going to leave you alone at a bit more of a personal level and be more relative to, your connections around you, family, siblings, so forth. So Sagittarius, the sun, moon is sitting, this new moon is sitting in your 8th sector, opposite your second. And with the 8th sector, again, this is probably why I just brought up about the letting go of what you need to release, whether it's attitudes or belief systems, because, this is where we, again, are going through transformational energy. That 8th sector is Scorpio, and that 8th sector is all about Pluto again. And so it's actually, bringing in the opportunity to look a bit deeper, especially with the sun, moon, Pluto. That's about us going very deep into our psyche, or into our subconscious, or into our, into our psychology, if you like, and into our intuition, but our emotional space, and having a deeper look at what our needs are, what we really want, and what we're wanting to achieve for ourselves. So 8th is the sector for you, and so with that, releasing anything that you're no longer wanting. What you've also got going on here is, you've had Saturn, Neptune, which is in Pisces, that's been sitting in your 4th sector. So that could leave you, or have had you feeling, and this sort of been going on for a little bit of time, especially with Neptune there, sort of feeling like, possibly spending a lot of time by the water with Neptune there, or wanting to be by the water. But also with Saturn there now, it's like, where do I want to place myself? Where do I want to be? Where's home for me? And, Sagittarians can be, true Sagittarian can be where I lay my hat is my home. But with the Saturn there, it's like you're wanting to ground yourself into, into the earth, into somewhere that you can call the home, that, whether it's being, with the land. Sagittarians are outdoors people. They love farms. They love, being outdoors. And like with Neptune there, it's like, again, you know, that's the water and the sea. But with Saturn there, it's like, well, do I want land? So, you know, you might be just sort of working out where you want to place yourself. You might have been away for work and not being able to be at home as much as you like. But again, this will be shifting, changing as time goes on. But over this sort of, you've still got this going on for a while. So you're still going to be, again, going, where do I want to put my roots down if I haven't already? Or what do I want to change, you know, about where I live, if I do want to change it, or what do I want to create within where I live. So the nodes are going through a axis shift now. What that means is the nodes, north node, south node, these are mathematical points that relate to the moon, and they relate to our personal connections, our relationships, our soul connections, our acquaintances. You know, they relate to our relationships on all levels, and our associations. And they also relate to South Node is relative to the past, and our soul, you know, coming in, where it's been, our past lives, and what we've experienced possibly up to now. Then the North Node's about our future direction. So the North Node indicates in an astrology chart what, you know, the person is wanting to achieve in this lifetime, what their soul's purpose is, what they've come here to do, what they've, you know, it's not fully the whole picture of their soul purpose, but it does relate to, you know, what they're wanting to achieve through themselves, and especially through others, and what they can achieve with the help through others. So for Sag, you've had the node, and you know, it's the node's moving into, North Node's moving into your fifth sector, so it's been in your sixth sector for a while. So there's been a lot about your work and your daily routine and the people that you've surrounded yourself with, and that's been really, really important time. Now you're coming into a space where you can create a lot more, where your focus can actually be more on family. It could be more on your own creativity, and it can also be just a really social time with the people that you have bonded with through, possibly through working on a common goal, or being around on a daily basis, and come into more of an entertaining space, a space where you can socialise a lot more and create a lot more together. So that puts your South Node in the 11th sector, which says you've been focusing on sort of things for the outer, or things for, say, community or groups of people, but now you're going to, with the North Node moving into the 5th, you're going to be able to really focus that into your own personal expression, rather than what you're creating in the group activity, what you can get on with your own thing as well, more so. Of course, you've got still both going on there, the 5th and the 11th, so they're both relative. In other words, the community and your own personal expression are both relative. You've got Jupiter and Uranus sitting in the 6th sector, and again, this is something that's going to be around for a little bit. This is really good for your daily routine. This means you get a lot more spontaneity going on here. Also, there's going to be some really good news around your work and career coming up a bit later on in the year when Jupiter comes closer to Uranus. So let's have a look. You've got Mars in the 10th. Let's have a look at your tarot. But Mars is in your 10th sector, so that's your, that's giving you a lot of striving, a lot of motivation for your goals. The 10th sector is all about the ultimate situations you want to achieve for yourself, your direction, where you see yourself, sort of what we put our energy into, and what mountains we want to climb, so to speak, what we want to succeed in. You've got Mars there, so it's just a real striving to succeed for the sake of success, and for the sake of, moving, taking the action, and feeling like you're taking all the right actions that you need. Mars in the 10th sort of relates to military connections, it's like there's no time to talk about it. I mean, of course, it's strategy there, because you've got to plan and organise your goal, but it's about taking the action when the time's right. So keep sitting back, going, okay, now's the time to act. And that's why it reminds me of military. And Mercury, Venus is sitting in your 9th sector, so nice time to be stimulating yourself with, sort of bigger questions of the world, more of a wider perspective on the world situations. But also it's a great time to be travelling, especially short trips with this Mercury Venus energy, that you could, you know, again, Sagittarius love to travel. They love to be out and about, whether it's by car or whether it's by plane. They loved all that movement. You know, Sagittarius rules the ninth sector, which is all about experiencing other things, other people, other situations, other places. So let's have a look at what the universe wants Sagittarius to know about for the next 4 weeks. And of course, the new moon always covers the energy. It's like the imprint for the next 4 weeks. Okay, Sag, you've got some powerful cards around you. You've also got a situation here where I feel you've had some frustration going on. I didn't quite pick up what that was about in your astrology, but the cards are saying you've had some frustration going on. You've had a situation that has felt sort of disappointing, and this is to do with words that have been spoken. It's really not anything that's been, you know, things have been hard, like a battle, and it's like, you know, feeling like you're going against difficult odds at times. Now, it's telling me that, like I said, these are powerful cards. You've got the Death card in the recent past, you've got the World card here at the base, and you've got the Strength card sitting above you. And so what all that means is that there's just been a shift of energy, which is possibly the nodal shifts, I would say, as well as you know, other things. We've actually got a lot of things sitting on the cusp as well, and even getting Pluto out of the second is going to really be quite a relief for you. But saying that you're at the end of a cycle, you're at the end of something that you've been working really hard at, and you know, you may be feeling you're excited to be at the end of it. You're you know, you can see like the light at the end of the tunnel. You can see what you start to plan for your future, because that's the space Sagittarius naturally likes to be in, is planning for the future, seeing what the future is. Now it looks like for Sag you've got plans with others. So I've got a really good relationship around here where you're going to be agreeable on moving forward, moving on together, moving into better things, better situations together. Now that's coming through the Lovers here. So there's decisions to be made to do with relationship, but it is about being able to move forward. And so when I said about Saturn in the fourth, you know, whether you might have been working away from home or not being home enough, it's like this is going to be a time, and I think it's good that this shift has happened, because I feel like this is going to be more of a time when you can spend more time around those you love and doing what you're really wanting to do. It's also saying that you've been through some tests of a more like an emotional side of things, but emotional in the sense of belief in yourself, emotional in the sense of not allowing yourself to be affected again by the words of others, which I'll just explain those two. So you can see this is about communication. It can be quite harsh communication, but it can be quite like stern and factual sometimes, but sometimes very, you know, on the negative, more callous. Now it does look like, you know, with Three of Swords here, you definitely there's been some nasty things said, if you like, or you know, difficult situations that you know, maybe you know, sort of jumped the gun and said the wrong thing, or maybe someone else said something to you. And you know, Sagittarians can be just as sensitive as everyone else, but they do don't hold back when it comes to the communicational side of things. So I just feel like this is a time to be moving on into a much more peaceful time, especially if it's been affecting relationships here. There has been some challenges, especially when it comes to personal belief in oneself, but it's like just having some time alone. Saggies can work things out themselves if they get that space and that time to just reflect on it. And if they're not just sitting in a place of offended and needing control, needing to feel like they've got to control the situation and that this wasn't fair and they've got to sort that out. But, you know, if they can just reflect on it and look at things from a higher perspective, you'll actually see that this is just a little bit of a test of the ego and your belief in yourself and your confidence. If someone is not giving you that respect, or you know, trusting you or believing in you, and you're feeling challenged with that, you know, yeah, that's not going to sit well with you, but you can sort this out through the right communication. So seems to be very good news about money. Now, this money could be held up. It's money that you're wanting to get on with something. So it's almost like you're feeling like you've had to do something, you've had to work hard at it. You're almost feeling unsupported in it in some ways by certain people that you feel are important to you. Um, and then you've got this sort of news coming in that's sort of showing you have achieved this. You've achieved this on your own, with or without the support of others, that are important or not. But sort of like, I feel like the rewards here are so great that it's like the other stuff sort of goes to the wayside. So what I'm saying here is that you're going to achieve the results you're wanting, and that sort of just helps to obscure anything that hasn't been communicated up to this point, because the whole key within this is about better communication and being open within communication and being patient within your communication with others. And that's not necessarily a great word for Sag at times, depending on whether you've got a lot of Capricorn going on there. Some, of course, it's not really all part of your personality, it's really just your lessons, your sun sign. But if you're attracting like a Saggy attracting, say, an Aquarius or a Gemini energy, it can sort of feel like tit for tat in a way. It can feel like, well, you said this and I said that, but it's like all you're getting really, if you're feeling challenged with communication or with another person, what you're getting is you're really just getting that reflection, that mirror image back at you of how you can be and what you can say, because again, there seems to be this opposing forces of, rather than seeing it as an attack, see it as, helpful information from someone who has completely opposite point of view to offer you. And I feel like, a lot of Saggies are good at that. It's just saying here some are working on that. Now, some Saggies, like I said, I feel this is relevant, male and female. For some reason, I was thinking about males when I was saying that, but I actually feel like, and the other side of it is, a woman feeling that, she may think she knows better, and partner's not listening, and it's like this is opening up again communication. It seems to be a very, very important part with this, and you've got Mercury there, in the night, so as long as you can keep on topic, it is a really good time to be communicating about those things at a much deeper level, because you can talk about all the other exciting things, but this is about talking about the emotions, and that's what Pluto does. Pluto's pulling out the sun and the moon energy, getting people to go into much deeper into their emotions and talk about how they're feeling, because how they're feeling is affecting them as much as what they're thinking. But Saggy, what you're thinking is actually looking really good, because like I said, it's really adaptable. It's like, okay, let's solve the problem. All right, we have to have this conversation. Okay, well, you're not going to like me saying this, and I'm not going to like you saying that, but we are honest people. We're being honest. We're not going to, fluff it up, because Saggy doesn't have time to fluff things up. But, but let's talk about this. Let's get it out of the way, and let's move on. And that's what a lot of this is about. It's about moving on and just, clearing away this energy that, not even from the past, but more just this energy of, it's almost a controlling thing. And again, we've got this Pluto energy of, of control. If we feel like, because a lot of this with Pluto is about where we feel we're giving our power away. So it's like, if I agree, am I giving my power away? Well, not necessarily. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Well, if they've disrespected me and said some real nasty things, and I don't, call them up for that, am I giving my power away? Well, yes, you are, if you don't sit down and communicate how that made you feel and how you don't want to have those feelings. Then you are giving your power away. So all I'm saying is that you can work through these situations, and Saggy, like I said, doesn't always have time to do this stuff, but seems to be important at this point in time for Sagittarius. So the other great thing here for Sag is, like, it's really important that they do what they love to do. They're very skilled. They've got great knowledge. They've got great ability to bring things together and make them happen, especially if they've got patience and, creative skill with it. And so it's like, Saggies, again, they value freedom above everything else. It's so important. And, if they're not doing what they love to do, because Saggies can easily be workaholics. They can be spending all their time working because they love to be passionate about what they're doing. They love to throw themselves into that, and it's sort of the after thing of Scorpio, which again is very much about that focus and that passionate, that one thing that they just love to do. Well, Sagittarius got a lot more variety and sees a much bigger picture, but it definitely needs that passion as well after it's come through Scorpio. So, in other words, if you're feeling restricted and of course you can't just turn your back on security and run away from it, but there are solutions here, and financial solutions to actually create more of what you're wanting. So any Saggies with big visions, big ideas, big plans, and again this is here with this the World card. She has got brilliant ideas, and she's really grounded, and she knows how to create. They're going to be able to make it happen. Financially, they're going to be able to move forward and create their dreams. And it's not like a new cycle for Sag. It's more like, am I ever going to get to finish this? Am I ever going to get to move on? And yes, you will. And you will in the near future. So I hope you enjoyed that, Sag. And we'll see you next time. Bye.